Are you stressing about networking, wondering who will I talk to, what will I say without making a fool of myself, or how can I make meaningful connections and have authentic conversations at a schmooze fest? I got you, especially if you're new in business, new in town, new to networking, or even an introvert like me. Watch this video to get the scripts, the strategies, and the confidence to talk to people in one of what I consider the most uncomfortable but potentially valuable environments in the business world, the networking meeting. Today, we'll cover how to introduce yourself to a complete stranger, what to say when someone you barely know asks what's new, or when a rando corners you for free advice because you're a coach. That small talk you've been dreading. That's what this video is about. The actual words, the scripts that work, the moments that make or break a networking event, and how to handle them all with confidence. Because I've been there and I live to tell the story. Actually, I wrote the book. I'm Ronnie Noyes, retired marketing coach, introvert, and author of Quiet Networking in a Noisy World, the Introverted Coach's Guide to Attracting More Clients and Referrals. And I'm here to teach you how to work a room with confidence, even if you're an introvert like me. In my last two videos, I shared my 5-step networking framework and how to show up ready. In this video, I'm going deep into what to say because you're going to have to say something, so I've got you covered. Let's start with step 3 of the framework, acknowledge and connect with others. Now, once I'm in the event room, the first thing I do is a quick lap. Now, I'm not talking to anyone yet, just getting my bearings. Where's the registration table, the bar, the buffet, who's here? Where are the people I was hoping to see, if they're even here? This lap serves 2 purposes. 1, it orients me so I'm not wandering around looking lost. 2, and this is the introvert's secret, I can acknowledge people I know with a wave or a nod as I pass without getting pulled into a conversation before I'm ready. Because as an introvert, my system needs a minute to get comfortable, to regulate. So I'm moving because I'm on a mission. I'm doing a lap. Now, after the lap, I start actually connecting, and I have a priority order. First, I look for the speaker or guest of honor, the person everyone is here to see. Getting a moment with them early before the event gets underway and they get mobbed is a genuine advantage. You've already done your homework on them, so you have something real to say. Second, I look for my by design connections, the specific people I identified before the event that I wanted to meet or reconnect with. These are intentional, not accidental. Third, I reconnect with acquaintances and colleagues I already know that just happen to be there. A quick check-in, a what's new, maybe a quick selfie together. I keep it brief because we can always catch up more later. And fourth, and this is one of my favorite moves, I look for the lone wolves or wallflowers, the people standing by themselves looking like they regret every life choice that led them to this meeting, or just mildly bored or nervous, whatever. These are my people. Then I go talk to them, seriously. They are so relieved when someone approaches them. And you immediately go from nervous person at a networking event to warm, connected person who made them feel welcome. That's the reputation that you want. And it will make you feel more calm and steady. When you reconnect with someone you've seen before, a great question you can ask is, what's new? Especially if you can't remember any details about their lives or business. The what's new question is an open invitation for them to share whatever feels important or exciting to them right now. Listen closely. Ask a follow-up question. Mention their good news on social media later if it's appropriate. These small attentions are what turn acquaintances into real relationships. And yeah, use their name. Say it when you greet them. Say it once or twice during the conversation. It's the single most powerful thing you can do to make someone feel seen and valued. And we'll come back to that in a few minutes. Now, at some point during any networking event, you are going to need to introduce yourself to someone you've never met. And this is the moment a lot of coaches dread most. What do you say? How do you even start? What's going on with your arms? What do you do with your hands? I have a system for this, words and body language, and once you have it, you'll never again stand in a corner hoping someone else makes the first move. So let's start with the moment before you open your mouth, because the introduction actually begins before you say a word. Step 1 is what I call getting social permission. Make eye contact with the person you want to approach, not a stare. Just a moment of eye contact paired with an acknowledgement, a nod, a smile, an eyebrow raise, something that says, I see you and I'm friendly. And if they return it, even slightly, that's your green light. Now you can approach. Keep your eye contact intermittent as you walk toward them, friendly, not intense. You're not a circling shark. This takes maybe 3 seconds, but it does something important. It signals your intention before you arrive, so the other person isn't startled. You've already established that this is a positive interaction before either of you has spoken. Now let's talk about the words. This is how to introduce yourself to anyone, anytime, any place. Line number 1, pretty easy, only one word. Hi. Wave your hand in greeting when you say it, then pause just a beat to give them a chance to respond. They may not, that's fine. You're not waiting for a full conversation to start, just a moment of acknowledgement before you continue. Line 2, I don't think we've met. The body language here is everything. Shoulders up slightly, both hands out, palms up. It's a universal gesture for no agenda, just a human being. And it makes you look open and approachable, and it takes any pressure off the other person. The line also does something clever with words. It opens the door without assuming. If you've met before and one of you has forgotten, nobody's embarrassed. It's just a graceful reset. Wait briefly for a response before continuing. Line 3, I'm your first and last name. Hand to heart as you say your name. This is a gesture of sincerity. It's instinctive and warm, and it reinforces a connection between you and your name in other people's minds. So use your first and last name. That's it. It's more memorable, more professional, and it gives them something real to hold on to. Line 4, and you are? Extend your hand as you say this. The handshake and the question land at the same moment. It's a complete, natural, confident gesture. And with those 3 words, you've handed them the floor. The conversation is underway. Let me show you the whole thing together. Hi, with a wave. I don't think we've met. Shrug, palms up. I'm Ronnie Noyes, hand to heart. And you are? Extend hand to handshake. That's it. 30 seconds to learn, a lifetime of usefulness. I've used this on planes, in networking rooms, at weddings, once in a swimming pool. It's a great way, an easy way, a respectful way, a polite way to introduce yourself to virtually anyone. What I love about this system is that the body language does as much work as the words. Every gesture is warm and open and non-threatening. You're not performing confidence, you're physically expressing it. And here's what coaches know better than anybody else. The body leads the mind. When you do the gestures, the feeling of confidence follows. So practice it at home, say it to your mirror, your spouse, your dog, 10 repetitions, and it will feel completely natural. Now, once you've introduced yourself, what do you actually talk about? I like to start with a question. What do you do? What brings you here today? How do you know the host? These easy openers put the focus on the other person, which is exactly where it should be. Then ask a follow-up. How did you get started in that? What do you love about it? These deeper questions are where real connections begin. Then validate what they've shared, genuinely, not performatively. If you've a related experience or a short anecdote, offer it briefly, then turn it back on them. Toss, return, toss, return. Conversational pickleball, if you will. Of all the things I'm going to share with you today, this section is the one that will make the most difference in how people experience you at a networking event. Because it turns out that saying the right thing isn't about being witty or eloquent. It's about one word. Names, specifically their names. Say their names in conversation while walking past them to somewhere else. Any chance you get to say their name, say it. It makes people feel important, like seen, respected, included. And this is something coaches are naturally good at, by the way. You already know how to make people feel heard. This is just the networking version of that same skill. A quick tip on names. If you're bad at remembering them or you think you're bad, try this. When someone tells you their name, use it immediately in your response. Great to meet you, Sarah. Then use it once more before you part ways. 2 uses and it should be in your memory. But don't be weird about it. Great to meet you, Sarah. That's right, Sarah. How are you, Sarah? That's a little much. But a couple of times, that's the sweet spot. Now let's talk about that what's new question. Not your answer to it, but the conversation that happens after. When you ask someone what's new and they actually tell you something, a new project, a recent win, a trip they're planning, your job is to respond like a human being who cares and is genuinely interested. Ask a follow-up question. Offer a connection or a resource if you have one. Mention it later in conversation or even on social media if that's appropriate. When people share something with you and you remember it and reference it later, even in the same conversation or event, it's remarkable. Almost nobody does this. You will stand out immediately. And when the question comes back to you, because it will, have your answer ready. You prepared it before you walked in the door. 2 things, one professional, one personal, both brief and positive. Share one, then turn it back to them. Not a pitch, a conversation. Now here's a scenario every coach will encounter at a networking event, usually more than once. Someone finds out you're a coach and they say, "Oh, that's interesting. Can I ask you a question?" And then they ask you something that would normally take 30 minutes and a whiteboard to answer properly. This is a buying signal. Recognize it as one. Now, if they're just making conversation, that's a different story. But if it appears to me that they're asking on behalf of themselves, here's how I respond. But you do you. Great question. That's a huge topic, and honestly, I have a lot to say about it. How about we connect this week when I can give you my full attention and have the resources that I want to share with you right in front of me? You're not brushing them off. You're not giving away free coaching. You're positioning a real conversation as something worth having properly, which it is. You're creating a follow-up appointment in the process. When you do follow up by phone, email, or social media, you have options. If you're not sure whether there's a client relationship there, offer a free consultation. If you already know they're not a fit, you can direct them to a resource, a blog post, a checklist, a book, or even another person. Either way, you've turned a networking moment into a next step and a real relationship. Last thing we need to talk about, how to leave a conversation without being rude. This is a question I get asked often, and the answer is simpler than people think. First, you don't need an excuse. You're at a networking event. Everyone is there to meet multiple people, and nobody expects you to spend the entire event with a single person. A graceful exit is completely normal and completely expected. So here are a few exit lines that work if you just want to have something in your metaphorical back pocket. It's been so great talking with you. I want to make sure I say hello to a few other people before the program starts. Can we connect on LinkedIn? Or, I promised myself I'd introduce myself to at least 5 people tonight, so I'm going to keep moving, but I'd love to continue this conversation. Do you have a business card? Or maybe even, I'm going to grab a drink and let you mingle. It was really great meeting you. Each of these closes the conversation cleanly, shows respect for both your time and theirs, and opens a door for future connection. That's all an exit needs to do. The one thing to avoid, the slow fade. You know this one, the gradual drift towards the edge of the conversation, eyes wandering to the rest of the room, half answers. That's rude. It's obvious and it leaves the other person feeling dismissed. A clean, gracious exit is always better. But remember, group conversations are not airports. You don't need to announce your exit. You can just get going. So here's a full picture of what work in a room actually looks like when you do it well. You arrive ready, you do your lap, you orient yourself, you connect with the host, you approach people on your priority list, speaker, by design connections, acquaintances, lone wolves. You introduce yourself with 4 simple lines and the right body language. You ask questions, you listen well, and you say people's names. You handle the what's new question like the prepared, interesting, fascinating person that you really are. You respond to requests for free advice with warmth and a plan. And when it's time to move on, you exit gracefully and leave the door open. None of this is complicated. All of this is learnable. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, like any other skill you've developed in your coaching practice. Easy, natural, just part of who you are. One more thing before you go. If you haven't seen my video on how to create a killer elevator speech, that's your homework after this one. Because the moment someone responds to your exit line with, "Wait, what do you do exactly?" you want to have a great answer ready. Link is in the description. Now, the next video in this series covers the part that most coaches skip entirely, what to do after the networking event, the follow-up. Because everything we talked about in this series only pays off if you do the work after you leave the room. Don't miss it. If this was helpful, subscribe and share it with a coach who needs it. Oh, and before I forget, I've got 7 great networking tools you're going to find super useful that you can download for free at my Smart Ideas Coaching Systems Library. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, Coach. See you in the next one. I'm Ronnie Noyes, reminding you that today is a great day to be a coach.